Hey, it's me, Kati. So what are the smart upgrades that you need to make to your house that pay off when you go to sell? Before I begin, I want to make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot of great information coming out that I do not want you to miss. So do me that favor, go ahead and click the button below, like and subscribe. So if you wait until the end of this video, I'm going to let you know how you can get my full list of all the items that are high return, low cost, and low return, high cost to make sure that you don't make the mistakes that some sellers that I have seen make. Okay, so what are the smart upgrades that you should make to your home in preparation for moving, whether it's now or in the future? This is a topic that's important because if you are thinking of moving in the next 3 to 5 years, this video really is for you, because a lot of these things I'm going to talk about, you don't want to do all at once. You may not be able to afford them. And that's why I want to talk about what are the smart upgrades that you should do before you decide to move. I want to talk to you about a house that I had listed. There's really going to showcase what are smart upgrades and what aren't. This house that I had listed was a really nice home in a great area. It was a colonial, a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath house with a basement. Now the house had been empty for many years. However, the seller lived just down the street and he actually would come over pretty much every day to take care of the house. He'd come in, he'd look at it, he'd clean it, he'd make sure it was in great condition. And he knew he was going to be selling in a couple of years. So he decided to be proactive and to redo his kitchen. So he redid his kitchen with the anticipation that he'd be selling in a few years. And when he did that, he put in new countertops, he put in new cabinets, new appliances. He did it all. In addition, he went and he updated his master bathroom. So everybody would think this would be great. If you're going to sell, you should go and update your bathroom and your kitchen. Well, the real issue was that he made these upgrades without looking at some of the bigger issues that buyers are actually looking for. There's 3 different types of hardwood on the first floor. In addition, there were 2 different types of tile. And so any buyer coming in most likely would want it to be one level. The kitchen really was not very big. There was a wall separating the kitchen and the family room that most likely somebody would want to take down. But he redid the kitchen in its small format. So when people are looking at the house, the kitchen, yes, it's updated, but it's small and people want it open. The other issue with this house is there really was not a backyard. It was on a side yard, and that is not something that you can actually change. There were 3 main issues with this house, and it didn't matter how much was updated in the house or not updated. These 3 issues were going to be there for every buyer. Those 3 issues being that the flooring wasn't good, the kitchen was small, not open to the family room, and there was no backyard. These aren't things that really can easily be changed in the house. So it doesn't really matter how much you update it, those things are really not going to go away. So when we came to him, he knew the price that he wanted for his house based upon what he felt he had put into the house, buying the house with the kitchen and with the bathroom. And that number was too high. However, we tested at that price and we didn't get any showings. And we were on the market a few months and we had to keep coming down because the price was too high. He couldn't quite understand. He had done all these great updates, but it wasn't paying off in the end. So we were on the market for more than 6 months. We had 48 showings and we had 15 open houses. That's a lot of people through. That's a lot of stress. That's a lot of tension. And then a lot of discussions about having to reduce the price to get it to where we want it to be. And the feedback was exactly as I would imagine. There was no open layout. So while the kitchen was nice, the appliances were new, it wasn't an open layout. There wasn't a backyard. So again, while the kitchen was updated, the master bathroom was updated, there was no way to make that backyard bigger. So your price is going to be maxed out no matter how much you do on the inside. The thing that was really important about this house though, it was in great condition. He really took very good care of it. It was very clean. So we did end up finally selling the house. We had ended up reducing the price and got it to a point where it felt right to people. However, the seller did feel like he did take a loss on the home. If the seller had talked to me before he did the remodel or the construction, I would have talked to him about what is the risk and the reward. What is the return that he would potentially get and the cost of redoing the kitchen or redoing the master bathroom, which was small as well. I would have explained to him that the buyers really wanted it all open and maybe it would be better not to put the money into the kitchen or into the updates that he did and list the price lower so that somebody could do their own work. In the end, it's a net. That means that the money that he put in, he really didn't get out and he probably did end up losing money as well. So this is what I want you to keep in mind. Updates won't always make your house worth more. more. However, if buyers don't like your updates, your house will always be worth less. And remember, a house is worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it. And so just because a seller wants a certain price doesn't mean that they're actually going to get it. So if you type in what to update when I sell my home, you're going to find a lot of websites tell you all these different things to update. But what I'm going to go over right now is what updates actually are going to give you the highest return and cost the least amount of money. The other thing I want you to remember is ongoing maintenance most likely will not make your house worth more. However, it will make it sell faster. So if you're doing ongoing maintenance, that's great. Good for you. You're going to sell your house quicker. You may not get the money out when you do go to sell, and that is a frustration for people. When they're putting in a new furnace, they think that if they're spending $15,000, it should increase the value of their home by $15,000, and it doesn't necessarily do that. However, what it does do is it does get the house sold quicker. I want to talk to you about the doorbell dilemma. It's when a buyer goes to the house and the first thing they do is they look at the doorbell and it's actually broken. So the dilemma is this house actually going to be any good? Because if their doorbell is broken, what else is broken? If they can't fix this $10 doorbell, what happens with the larger items? Maybe they have not fixed them. The other thing is when buyers buy a house, they want to come in and decorate. They want to make it their own. They want to do things to the house that make it feel cozy and warm and good to them. And if they have to spend a lot of money on their maintenance or on their windows or on the landscaping, that's not money that they can put into decorating. That's the money it's going to take to get the house just to even playing field. Your goal is to give your buyers a great base for when they walk in. The first thing I want you to do is start looking at your home like a buyer. I want you to go out and stand in the street. I want you to look at the house and say, gosh, if I were a buyer, what would I say about this house? And I promise when you do that, you're going to say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I've been living with that garbage at the side of my house for 2 years. You will notice this stuff when you go and look at it as a buyer would look at your house. Then I want you to walk into the house. I want you to look at your house like a buyer would look at it. I want you to look at the baseboards. I want you to look at the dirt. I want you to look to see if things are straight. Are things fresh? Are they clean? Are they bright? Are they trendy? Look at it as if you were a buyer walking into your house for the first time. It is a little bit of a dangerous exercise sometimes because then you feel like, oh no, now we've got to redo everything. But just hold on. I just want you just for the first moment just to walk around the house and take a look at it. I know you've heard this before, but what you are going to get the most return on is paint. Paint, paint, paint. I know you've heard it before, but it makes a whole room completely different. And if you're going to do one single thing in your house, one thing, it needs to be paint. I also have some recommendations for colors below as well. The colors need to be neutral, they need to be fresh, they need to look like HGTV, they need to be trendy. Don't pick a color. If you need help, reach out to an agent, reach out to me, ask me what those colors are that you should be painting your home in. In addition, your trim work. Look at your baseboards, look at your trim work. Is it fresh? Is it clean? Buyers look at this, and this is something then you're giving them that base. Remember that they do not then have to update. The other thing is clean. You've got to clean. Ongoing cleaning every single week. I promise it will pay off in the end if you are looking to sell your home. Some of the little things that go into the high return, low cost are regrouting your tub. Nobody wants to open the shower curtain and see mold in the tub. It just gives people the heebie-jeebies. So you want to make sure that you just clean it out. It's a handyman. You can do it yourself. Put in new grout anywhere you see it's dirty or old or cracking. Trimming trees and bushes is also something that you should be looking at. This might have been something that you've disregarded for years, but it is a low cost item that gives that fresh look to the house when people drive into the driveway. Power washing is always great maintenance for your house on the outside. Make sure you're doing the siding, you're doing the patio, you're doing the porch, you're doing the sidewalk, you're doing the driveway. Make sure again, it's looking fresh and looking clean. Anything that's broken should be fixed. So if you have a broken fence or you have something that's falling down, if you are not making these little tiny fixes to things that are basic, these buyers are really going to think that you have not maintained your house over the years. It's just a bad sign that you're not taking care of the house. And then it gives them this feeling like, oh my gosh, what are we going to find when we go to the inspection or when we actually move in? So people are going to ask me, should you put in new countertops in an old kitchen? And I say no. And the reason why is because it's pretty expensive and people recognize that the kitchen just has new countertops on it. If you have an older kitchen, painting the kitchen can work and then maybe putting on the countertops. So if you're thinking maybe you want to put $5,000 to $10,000 into painting the cabinets and then putting in the countertops, that's an okay thing to do. But if you're just going to replace the countertops, it's really not worth it. You're not going to fake people out. I hear this one a lot. Oh, our hardwood floors look terrible. We need to redo them. Most people's most hardwood floors, by the time they're ready to move out, don't look great. However, the time and the expense and the effort to redo your hardwood floors is not worth it. Most people, if they're moving to a house with hardwood floors, will actually redo the floors when they move in. They just want to see that you have hardwood floors. They want to see that. So if you have hardwood floors under your carpet, you're going to rip up your carpet because it doesn't necessarily matter the condition of the hardwood floors. I mean, if they're terrible, yes, you might have to redo them. So don't worry about basic scratches because the buyers are going to come in and they're going to redo the floors themselves. And I want you to remember that pictures are really what we're trying to do. We're trying to fake people out with those pictures. So if your hardwood floors are scuffed or scratched, you're not going to see those in pictures, but what they are going to see is they are going to see hardwood floors, and that is a win. So things that are high return and are very costly are your kitchens, your bathrooms, replacing windows, finishing the basement, adding a whole outdoor living space. These are wonderful updates, and I'm not going to disagree with you if you say you want to do them for yourselves. But if you're doing it to sell, you are risking money. You are risking tens of thousands of dollars because you don't necessarily know if you're doing it the right way. So you can't just guess, I'm going to update this kitchen like my other seller did. He would have saved a lot of money if he hadn't done that, and he wouldn't have been on the market that long. So you need to make sure that if you're updating a kitchen or bathroom, first of all, if you're doing it for yourself, go for it. But if you're doing it to move, you need to get some professional advice, no question. I get a lot of people asking me if they should replace the roof. That's a tough one because if the roof is in really, really bad shape, yes, because it goes to my doorbell dilemma. So if the roof looks really bad, yeah, you probably do need to replace it, but you're not going to get much of a return on that. If the roof is not great and it's not leaking, you can say, you know, we'll just offer a credit at closing if they want to redo the roof. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes they don't ask for it. But keep in mind that if you replace the roof, you're not necessarily getting that money out when you go to sell. The same thing goes for updating your furnace or your air conditioner, is that those are not going to give you a great return. However, if they are newer, it will help your house sell quicker. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining your furnace and your air conditioner every single year. And it goes a long way when you have that sticker on the furnace that says every time it's been serviced. People do love that. Again, going back to my doorbell dilemma. If the doorbell's broken, what else is not working? I recently had somebody reach out to me and ask me about putting solar panels on their house and was it worth it because you do get energy savings. Will buyers like that? I say absolutely not. Some buyers hate solar panels. Some buyers don't care. So that falls into my low return and can be costly category. I also feel that anything involving cement work is really expensive. So if your driveway's a mess or if you've got a patio or a sidewalk that is completely broken, that's something you want to bring your agent in to talk to because the return on that you might not get. For example, I had a client recently and their driveway was not in good shape. If they had been staying, they would have probably replaced it. It needed to be replaced. They got a quote to replace it for $15,000 and they were going to do it until I came in and said, whoa, you're not going to get this money out. Let's just see what happens when we go on the market. And we went on the market and the house sold immediately and they didn't have to give them a single dollar for a credit and they saved $15,000. That is what happens when you call an agent in early, is you get that guidance. If he hadn't called me in early, he would have spent that $15,000 and he would not have known that was going to make a difference or not. I knew it would not make a difference and it did not. So my list of things that are low cost, high return are very, very simple, but it might take you some time. You may need to do some regular maintenance item like cleaning the gutters, updating doorknobs, hinges, things like that. You want to make sure that it's light and bright in the house as well. By adding some overhead lighting, that really helps the house as well. Remember, our goal is to get the house sold. It's not to make it perfect for you. You have to put yourself in the place of a buyer. As I said earlier, I have this list down below. Feel free to go ahead and download it. Reach out to me if you have any questions about this. My text is below. Feel free to shoot me a text and just ask me a question. Hey, do you think it's a good idea if I update X? I promise anybody can do it from anywhere in the country. I'm more than happy to help. And do me a favor, if you have liked this video, please go below, like and subscribe to this channel. I've got a lot of great videos coming out. I don't always email them out. You may not know unless you click on that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and if you know, you know.